Today, we are going to talk about Sintra, Portugal. The quaint Portuguese town of Sintra, just 45 minutes away from Lisbon, is located within the cooling hills of Serra de Sintra. You will find whimsical palaces, extravagant villas, and the ruins of a Moorish castle from the 10th century hidden among its majestic pine forest. Sintra gained notoriety because of the aristocracy, royalty, and the wealthy elite built their mansions and palaces in Sintra because of the area's milder climate and close proximity to the Atlantic Ocean during the 19th century when they fled the oppressive summer heat of Lisbon. It's undoubtedly one of Portugal's most picturesque locations and offers a lot of breathtaking sights. In all honesty, just looking at pictures of Sintra will convince you to visit. To know more about this town, let us move towards the top 5 things that you can do while you're here. Number 5. The Palace of Sintra. The only palace that spans Portugal's entire history is situated in the center of Sintra, defining its landscape with a distinctive silhouette created by its 2 conical chimneys atop the royal kitchen. Those pair of white conical towers stand above a jumble of halls and annexes. The Palace of Sintra is the oldest palace in the city and is the best preserved royal medieval residence in Portugal. There have been numerous royal palaces converging to form the current Palace of Sintra. The exact date of the founding of the nation's oldest palace is still a matter of debate, but this ensemble of buildings was built, added to, and modified over the course of many centuries. From the 1400s to the 1700s, royalty intermittently resided here, adding a little of their individual personalities. King Manuel I was in charge of most of the interior design, covering the walls in striking Seville azulejos. These have geometric, carpet-like patterns and are in the Mujar fashion, Moorish revival. Another of his creations was the magnificent Sala dos Braços, coat of arms hall, which features 72 coats of arms of royalty on its coffered ceiling. The Palace of Sintra served as both the administrative center for a sizable region managed by Portuguese queens at the end of the Middle Ages, and one of their favorite vacation spots. The Palace of Sintra became a popular destination due to the abundance of hunting in the area, the cool summer weather, and the necessity of seeking refuge during plague outbreaks in the capital. The Palace of Sintra offers its visitors the chance to take a tour through time. As a keeper of memories and the site of some of the most significant events in Portugal's history, it has witnessed many important historical moments, making it a spot worth visiting. Number 4. Praia da Ursa. You can access this beach by following the signs directing you down a dirt road on the way to Cabo da Roca. On that rounded coastline, you can see from the cape is Praia da Ursa, which is quite possibly one of the most breathtaking beaches you will ever see. It's a rare beach on the Atlantic coast where non-swimmers can paddle in safety due to the presence of tall, abrupt cliffs and outcrops that almost completely enclose the beach and help to calm the waves. It takes some effort to get here because you have to carefully descend a trail that runs along a cliff, but it's worth it for the breathtaking scenery. Those who are brave enough to visit usually take advantage of the solitude and sunbathe naked because it is wild and unspoiled. It is therefore an unofficial naturist beach, but you are allowed to remain in your bathing suit and simply take in the scenery. It's said that a female bear and her cubs lived here during the Ice Age thousands of years ago. The animals were told to leave the area when the thaw started, but the bear disobeyed. The gods punished her by transforming her into stone, and her children into tiny rocks all around her. If you intend to spend the day here, bring water and food, since there aren't any facilities of any kind. If you want some shade, don't forget your parasol as well. Stay away from the cliffs, as rocks could fall there. Those who might not be in shape for the hike should avoid this beach. However, everyone else will discover that the journey there was well worth the effort, because the breathtaking scenery serves as a truly memorable reward. Number 3. Castle of the Moors. The ruins of an enormous castle that was constructed by the Moors and expanded after the Reconquista are perched on one of Sintra's highest peaks. At the top of a sheer cliff, the walls, which have 4 square towers, are a sight to behold from below and provide an incredible vantage point from above. You can see the peaks, bluffs, and rocky spurs, as well as the Atlantic, from high up between the Merlons. A large Moorish cistern with a stairway leading inside, and the ruins of a Romanesque chapel with frescoes in its chancel are 2 exciting remnants that historians can explore. Get ready to explore the entire Lisbon region as you ascend the steep path and pass by the Romanesque chapel, which dates back to the time of the Christian Reconquista. Recent excavations have also uncovered the remains of several Muslim homes within the walls, in addition to the crumbling remains of a mosque. A small S. Pedro de Penafiarim themed Christian chapel now stands where the mosque once stood. Unfortunately, the castle deteriorated over time as Sintra's strategic importance decreased. However, as part of his Romanticist plans for Sintra, which also included the neighboring Pena Palace, King Ferdinand II launched a restoration project in the middle of the 19th century. For numerous reasons, you should take time to visit Lisbon's second most well-known castle. When traveling to Sintra, be prepared because the climb is challenging, and the breathtaking panorama from the walls will astound you. The castle's architecture and the surrounding area have been designated as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The Moors constructed the castle in the 8th or 9th century, atop the hills of Sintra, on a very unlevel surface. When the country was founded in 1147, King Alfonso Henriques took control of it. It should come as no surprise that the views from the Moorish castle's walls are breathtaking, given its advantageous location and steep ascent. You can see Arabeda beyond the Tejo River in the south, to the west Cabo da Roca, and in the north Peniche. When spending a typical day in Sintra, the climb to the Castle of the Moors is to be well kept on your list. Number 2. Parque de Pena. There are numerous natural and cultural landmarks in Sintra that have been designated as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The enchanting Pena Park, which was created as an addition to Pena Palace in 1839, displays a rare beauty in the natural world that has been enhanced by harmonious human intervention. King Ferdinand II imported exotic plant and tree species from all over the world in order to create the ideal fantasy forest. The royal residence, Pena Palace, can also be seen from Alto de Santa Catarina, also known as St. Catherine's Heights, where a bronze, gigantic warrior statue guarding it stands on a rock. That was Queen Amelia's favorite location, where she would spend hours sitting on a throne carved out of the rock. Many visitors today take their best pictures of the vibrant palace from this stone bench. The Condesta de Alda Chalet, a structure with alpine influences that belonged to King Ferdinando II's wife, is located in the park. Cruz Alta, or High Cross, is the park's highest point. It is identified by a stone cross that serves as a lookout point, with views of the park and the palace all the way to the Atlantic coast in the distance. The Valley of the Lakes, which has 5 small lakes, and one of them with a charming duck house in the shape of a castle tower, is to the south. Given that some of the tree species in this collection are no longer found in their original countries and continents, it is thought to be the most abundant and extraordinary collection of trees in all of Europe. There are more than 500 distinct tree species in existence. After touring Pena Palace, you ought to go to Pena Park. The various attractions are accessible via shady footpaths that are clearly marked. A trip to the park can take between 1 hour and 90 minutes, depending on how much walking you're willing to do around it and how many spots you want to cover through that visit. Number 1. Penna Palace. Standing atop Sintra, the Penna Palace appears to be the jewel in the crown. The colors and a fusion of various architectural styles are what first catch your eye, aside from its size. You won't know where to look among the vault arches, the ornate window in the main facade, the drawstring bridge, the clock tower, and the cylindric bastion, each one more stunning than the last. It is a fantasy palace that blends elements of the Gothic, Manueline, Moorish, and Renaissance styles, making it one of the best representations of European Romanticism. It is situated at the top of a mountain. The interior is heavily ornated with European furniture and Oriental porcelain, and there are watchtowers of various shapes. Large cooking utensils used to prepare the royal banquets are on display in the kitchen. The interior of the palace is still decorated in accordance with the tastes of the kings and queens who once resided there. The Queen's Terrace, which is on the top floor and looks out over Penna Park, and the palace's entrance gate is accessible from the interior. Due to the breathtaking view, many visitors pause to take selfies here. Outside, you'll notice that some elements are similar to those of other Portuguese landmarks. For example, the spiked gateway resembles Lisbon's Casa dos Picos and Belém Tower, and a window was unmistakably modeled after a famous one in the Castle Convent of Tomar. A magnificent monument like that naturally draws a lot of tourists. As a result, a visit could take close to an entire day, considering the time it takes to get to the mountaintop location, wait in line for tickets, enter, tour the interior, and stop for the ideal photo. Now that you've known some of the major attractions of the Sintra and what you can possibly do here, how do you plan to cover these major spots while you're here? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, where to next?